सबतारकान् तत्प्रकाशां सतत्शक्ति कृष्ण चैतन्य संयकम् वन्दे श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य नित्यानन्द सहोदितो गौड़दयी पुष्पवन्तो चित्रौ सन्दौ तमोनुदौ जगद्वैत ब्रह्मोपनिषदि तदप्यस्य तनुभा आत्मान्तर्यामि पुरुष इति स्वस्यां षडैश्वर्यपूर्णयः भगवान् स स्वयम् अयम् न चैतन्यात् कृष्णात् जगति परतत्त्वं परम्यहम् अनार्पितचरिं चिरात् करुणयावतीर्न कलौ समार्पयितुमन्मतोज्ज्वलरसां स्वभक्ति श्रियम् हरिः पुरटसुन्दरद्युति कदम्बसन्दीपितो सदा हृदयकन्दरे स्फुरतु वसचिनन्दनम् राधा कृष्ण प्रणय विकृति लादिने शक्त्यस्मात् एकात्मनावपि भुवि पुरा देहभेदं गतौ चैतन्याख्यं प्रकटमधुना तद्वयं चैकमाप्तम् राधा भावद्युतिसुललितं नौमि कृष्ण स्वरूपम् श्रीराधाया प्रणय महिमा कीदृशोऽनैवा सद्य जेनाद्भुतमधुरिमा कीदृशोऽवा मदीय सौख्यं च स्यामदनुभवतो कीदृशं व्यक्तिलोभात् तद्भावाढ्य समजने शचिगर्भसिन्धौ हरिन्दु संकर्षणकारणतो यशायि गर्भोदशायि च पयोऽब्धिशायि शेषश्च यस्यां सकलाशनित्या नन्दाख्यरामं शरणं नमस्ते। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So we are in Adi Lila. Once again we will continue from the beginning of chapter 5, the glories of Nityananda Balaram. So in this chapter we are going to speak about Nityananda, who is Lord Balaram himself. In the beginning, Srila Krishna Kaviraj Goswami, he compiles this verse to glorify Balaram. He says, Vande Nantadbhutaishwarijam Sri Nityanandamishwaram Jasyechaya Tatsarupo Magyenapi Nirupyate. Vande Anantadbhutaishwarijam Nitya Sri Nityananda Ishwaram. Who is Nityananda Prabhu? Sri Nityanandam Aham Vande Kidrisam. I offer my respectful obeisances to Nityananda Prabhu. And who is that Nityananda? Ishwaram. He is Ishwara. Prabhupada translate as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes, When you hear Krishna also Prabhupada translates Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, when it comes to Nityananda Prabhu, he is saying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Ishvara. Because Swadhina Vaibhavam. Like Krishna, who is an independent God, he has his independent opulence. Similarly, according to Swarupa of the Lord, Nityananda Prabhu, who is Balram, Tattvataha, in Swarupataha, he is non-different from Krishna. So therefore, because of having Swadhina Vaibhava, the independent opulence, therefore, he has been defined here as Ishvara and Anantam, that Vaibhava, that wonderful opulence which he possesses, is unlimited and wonderful. Therefore, no one can estimate the glory of Sriman Nityananda. Or in this connection, we can also say Guru Tattva is a manifestation of Nityananda Shakti or Baladeva Shakti. Just like we cannot understand Nityananda Tattva without being sufficiently blessed by the mercy of Sriman Nityananda. Similarly, no one can understand Guru Tattva without being sufficiently blessed by the mercy of the spiritual master, Guru Tattva. That's why in the second line, Sri Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami said, Jasyat Chayat Tad Swarupam Agyanapi Nirupyate. Agyana. One may not be very much conversant with the scriptures. He is called Agya. But still, Jasyat Chaya, just by having the merciful glance, or you can say, when Nityananda Prabhu desires us to do something, to speak about him, then he can do so. By his mercy only, Agyanapi Nirupyate. One who is ignorant about Nityananda Tattva can very nicely ascertain Nityananda Tattva when he is favored by Sriman Nityananda Prabhu. Same thing also goes about Guru Tattva. So let me offer my obeisances to Lord Sri Nityananda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose opulence is wonderful and unlimited. By his will, even a fool can understand his identity. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Aisat shloke kahilo Krishna Chaitanya Mahima, Pancha shloke kahi Nityananda Tattvasima. I have described the glory of Sri Krishna Chaitanya in 6 verses. Mande Sri Krishna Chaitanya we started with, and Sri Radha Pranami. These 6 verses, it describes the glory of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And we have seen in the writings of our acharyas, Nanda Sutajini Chaitanya Gosai Nija Nama Karidan. Nanda Sutta, the son of Nanda Maharaj, he has appeared in form of Chaitanya Gosai. And what he is doing? Nija Nama Kari Dana. He is here to distribute his own name to us for our deliverance. So therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared by assuming the mood of Radharani and complexion of Srimati Radharani. So Their tattva about Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already been discussed in the previous 6 verses. Now, starting from the Sankarsana Toyosai or Dosai Odisai, that is the 7th verse in Mangalacharan prayers out of 14 verses. Now, starting with this 7th verse, in next 5 verses, Srila Krishna Goswami says, I shall describe the glory of Lord Nityananda. Sarvavatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tahar Dvitiya Deho Sri Balaram Ekoi Swarup Duhe Bhinna Matra Kaya Adya Kaya Virho Krishna Lila Sahai Sri Krishna Navadvipe Sri Chaitanya Chandra Sri Balaram Sange Sri Nityananda. So, Sri Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is very merciful. He is setting an example here. When we speak about any subject matter, before we speak in great detail, if we give a brief introduction, then it helps the listeners to understand the topic very clearly, as it will be discussed afterwards. I don't know whether you have this tradition in your place, wherever you are coming from or not, but at least in our place, I can see when I was at home, I used to go to watch this, drama in the village. People perform drama at night. Evening time, they will perform drama. And before they perform the drama, which is called Nataka, in the beginning, the producer will come. Producer, or you can say the director also. He will come, and for first 10-15 minutes, he will give an overall overview of the drama, what is going to happen in next 2 hours movie, theater, not movie, that's a theater. So then you know exactly what is going to happen. Now you have got the sutra, and as they perform the drama, then you can understand very clearly. Therefore, in the beginning, in the first 3 verses, Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is giving a brief description about Nityananda Tattva, because this brief description will help the reader to follow the forward discussion. Therefore, he's saying, Sarvavatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan. Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, and he is the source of all incarnations. Sarvavatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan. Tahar Dvitiya Deha Sri Balaram. When I was saying that Prabhupada translates this, Nityananda is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because Nityananda Balaram, Balaram Haila Nitai, right? Balaram has come in form of Nityananda Prabhu. Therefore, sometimes we can interchangeably use this name Balaram and Nityananda Prabhu for easy understanding. So here, this Balaram is also, you can see Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dvitiya Deha, that is the second body of Lord Krishna. That means, according to Swarupa, there is no difference between Krishna and Balaram. Just for the sake of performing pastime, same Krishna, he assumes a body who is called Baladev, Sri Balaram. Bhinna matra kaya. Ekoi swarup kintu bhinna matra kaya. For why? For what? Lila Sahai. Just to perform different pastimes. Like today we will see Lord Krishna, by assuming the form of Balaram and again manifesting other forms from Balaram, he helps Krishna perform his pastimes in the matter of creating the universe. So here Tahara Dvitiya Deha, the second body. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balram is his second body. We know when we say second body, Balram's bodily complexion is white. Krishna is black. Krishna wears Pitavasana, yellow garment. But Balram wears blue garment. So there are some differences. Why? Because he has assumed a different mood in form of Baladev as a second body to perform the pastime. Prabhupada writes, Lord Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the primeval Lord, the original form of Godhead, and his first expansion is Sri Balaram. The personality of Godhead can expand himself in innumerable forms. The forms that have unlimited potency are called Samsa, and forms that have limited potencies, the living entities, are called Vibhinnamsa. But here, Baladev is Vilas, Vilasa Murti. In Vilasa form, Swarupataha, the expansion is same as the original form, but they have a different body. The body color is different, they dress differently. So this is just to perform the pastime. Then he says, Ekoi Swarupaduhe Bhinna Matrakai Adyakaya Vibha Krishna Lila Rasahai. These two are one and the same identity. They differ only in form. Lord Balram is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. So, as I said, Ekoi Swarup, Kintu Bhinna Matra Kai. So, this Balaram form of Krishna is the first expansion of Krishna. So, in that way, there is no difference between their identity. Balaram is a Samsa expansion of Lord, and therefore there is no difference in potency between Krishna and Balaram. The only difference is in their bodily structure. As the first expansion of Godhead, Balaram is the chief deity among the first quadruple expansion, the quadruple forms, and he is the foremost assistant of Sri Krishna in his transcendental activities. So, we will hear today how the first expansion of Lord Krishna, who is Balaram, from whom the Chaturvyuha become manifest, Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, this Chaturvyuha, they become manifest. But then this Sankarsana, who is also Baladev, but Baladev is also sometimes called as Mula Sankarsana. So in that way, there is Swarupe. According to Swarupa, there is not much difference. There is no difference actually. He performs, he assumes these forms to help Krishna in his transcendental pastimes. So, Sei Krishna Navadvipe Sri Krishna Sri Chaitanya Chandra Sei Balaram Sange Sri Nityananda. That original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvip as Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. Sankarsana Karanato Yasai Garbho Dasai Chapayo Disai Sesas Chajasyam Sakala Sanitya Nandakshiramaha Saranam Mamastu. May Sri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Saranam Mama. Krishna's Goswami is saying that I get shelter of Srimad Nityananda Prabhu. So who is Srimad Nityananda Prabhu? Sankarshana. He is Sankarshana. Sheshanaga. And the Vishnus who lie on the Karna ocean, Garbha ocean, and ocean of milk are his plenary persons and the persons of plenary persons. So, Sankarsana Karna Dosai. So, we know from the Sankarsana of the first quadruple expansion in Parabhyam comes Karnadoksai Vishnu. Then from Karnadoksai Vishnu comes Garbhodoksai Vishnu, who acts as the super soul for individual universes. Then this Garbhodoksai, or called also Sahasra Sirsha Purusha, he expands as himself as Kshirodaksai Vishnu, who represents the super soul of individual living entities. So in that way, you can see this Paramatma, Kshirodaksai Vishnu, is an expansion of Garbhodaksai Vishnu. Garbhodaksai Vishnu is an expansion of Karnadoksai Vishnu, and Karnadoksai Vishnu has come from Sankarsana, and then Sankarsana in Parabhyam has come from Balram. So either they are expansions or expansions of expansions. So this is how we can understand the Tattva very clearly. The Swarupa Damodar Goswami has recorded this verse in his diary to offer his respectful obeisances to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. This verse also appears as the 7th of the first 14 verse of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that is in Mangalasam. Now, starting with text number 8 until text number 11, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is going to discuss about how Baladev helps Krishna in his pastimes. So how Abulder helps Krishna in his pastimes is described from text number 8 through text number 11. Sri Balaram Gosai Mula Sankarshan Pancharupa Dhari Karen Krishne Rishavan Apane Karen Krishna Lila Rasahai Srishti Lila Karja Kare Dhari Charikai Srishthyadika Shivata Ajñar Pavan Shesarupe Kare Krishne Vividha Sevan Sarvarupe Aswadaye Krishna Sevananda Sri Balarama Gaura Sange Nityananda Saptama Shloker Artha Kori Chari Shloke Jate Nityananda Tattva Jane Sarvaloke. So he says, Balaram Gosai Mula Sankarsha. As we said, when Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna, then from Krishna comes Sankarshana. Sorry, from Balaram comes Sankarshana in Parabhyama. Therefore, even Balaram is also sometimes described as Mula Sankarshana, means original Sankarshana. If you see the description in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, which discusses, right? Balram actually was originally conceived in the womb of Mother Devaki. And then by Krishna actually ordered Yogamaya to transfer that Garbha from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini was the then staying in Gokul with Nanda Baba, in Nanda Baba's house. Because the Garbha was attracted by Yogamaya and placed in the womb of Yashoda Devi, Rohini Devi from Devaki. Therefore, his name is Sankarsana. But who is that personality? He is Balram. That's why Balram is also described as Mula Sankarsana or Adi Sankarsana. Pancharupa Dharikari Krishna. He assumes 5 other forms to serve Lord Krishna. What are those 5 forms? Sankarsana, Karanadoksai Vishnu, Gurvadoksai Vishnu, Kyodoksai Vishnu, and Shesh. So these are the 5 forms he assumes to serve Lord Krishna. And what does he do? What kind of service he performs by assuming these 5 forms? Apane Karen Krishna Lilar Sahai, Sushti Lila Karya Kare Dhari Charikai. He himself helps in the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and he does the work of creation in 4 other forms. Actually, all total can be taken as 6. Balram is also there. Balram assumes these 5 forms. Sometimes Balram becomes like Guru. You have seen Krishna is a very interesting personality. And by the influence of Yoga Maya, the way he desires to be served, Yoga Maya makes all the arrangements. You can say, when Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then how can other personality who will be superior to Krishna, and how will they feel like? Even though Balram is a servant, Balram is a servant God, so he is serving the Supreme Lord, but in form of his Guru or in form of his elder brother, you can also say. How does it happen? Balram does not feel anything actually, because at that time, like Nanda Baba, Yashoda Mata, they serve Krishna as their father and mother. Who can be father and mother of Krishna? But Krishna Lila Saha, just to release the pastime. One example can be taken, like for example, this here we are talking about Sisti Lila, the creation pastime of the Lord. What is this? Lokavattu Lila Kaivalya, Upanishad says. Vedanta Sutra says. Lokavattu Lila Kaivalya. This activity concerning creation of the Lord is meant for releasing pleasure by the Lord. It's not that he has to achieve something by creating this cosmos. He doesn't have any desire to accomplish. Just like we people, we make a plan. We want to do this thing, we want to do that thing. Why do you want to do that thing, this thing? Because we have a goal to achieve. But in the same way, like we say, Lokavattu Lila Kaivalyam, this activities of creation which is performed by Krishna in other forms, like Sankarsana, Karanadoksai Vishnu, Gurvadoksai Vishnu, Kyodoksai Vishnu, Sesa. In these different forms, he performs this creation, as I said, just to experience pleasure. Because Ananda Maya Abhyasa. He is the supreme blissful Godhead. So whatever he does for his pleasure. Even in the material world also we have seen, there are some people who are pleasure seeking. And these people sometimes they perform some drama, sometimes they arrange some orchestra. This is just an expression of their outburst of happiness. Right? Nothing else. Not that they want to achieve something. No, they want to be happy. In the material world, sometimes we have seen these qualities in a human being. then what is the difficulty in understanding that Lokapattu Lila Kaivalyam, Krishna does not have any purpose behind this material creation? He just does it because he wants to enjoy. Of course, in other times, sometimes like he is giving an opportunity for the conditioned souls to come back home, back to Godhead. Of course, that's also Krishna's pleasure because he wants you to be happy, take the facilities of this material creation and perform devotional service, then go back home, back to Godhead. So these are also part of Krishna's happiness. Krishna's very Swarupa is made up of bliss, then how can there be any lacking? No, there is nothing lacking. Everything is meant for his pleasure. Therefore, this work of creation in different forms, Baldevi performs to give pleasure to Krishna. Sushtadika Sevata Agnyar Palon. Baldev executes the order of Krishna. Sesurupe Kare Krishna Vivida Sevan. He executes the order of Lord Krishna in the work of creation and in the form of Lord Shesha. He serves Krishna in various ways. Purport. According to expert opinion, Balram, as the chief of the original quadruple forms, is also the original Sankarsana, Balram. The first expansion of Krishna expands himself in 5 forms: Mahasankarsana, Karanadisai, Garbhodakasai, Kshirodakasai, and Shesha. These 5 plenary portions are responsible for both the spiritual and material cosmic manifestations. It's a very important point. Prabhupada is saying, sometimes we may get confused. These 5 plenary portions, starting with Sankarsana up to Shesha, are responsible for both the spiritual and material cosmic manifestations. Not creations. Krishna being eternal, his creation is also eternal. It appears. In the spiritual world, for example, if you talk about the spiritual world, is it that Balram sometimes creates it? No, there's no question of creating. That's why Prabhupada is writing manifestations, cosmic manifestations. By the will of Lord Krishna, Balram helps this creation to become manifest in spiritual variety to give pleasure to Krishna. But Tattvata, the spiritual world is ever existing. So either he is helping in manifesting this spiritual world or in form of Sankarsana, Karandaksai Vishnu, Gavdaksai Vishnu, and Krudaksai Vishnu says also. He is helping Krishna to manifest the material cosmic world. In these 5 forms, Lord Balram assists Lord Krishna in his activities. The first 4 of these forms are responsible for the cosmic manifestations, whereas Shesha is responsible for personal service to the Lord. Sankarsana, Karandaksai Vishnu, Godaksai Vishnu, and Krudaksai Vishnu. These 4 forms are responsible for the cosmic manifestations, means in this material world. Whereas Shesha is responsible for personal service to the Lord. Shesha is called Ananta or unlimited because he assists the personality of Godhead in his unlimited expansions by performing an unlimited variety of services. What is that? Unlimited variety of services. One service is performing. As we know, Ananta says he has got thousands of faces. And with all these mouths, he has been continuously singing the glories, unlimited glories of the Lord. He is Ananta. Lord is Ananta also. And his glories are also Ananta because he is ever expanding. So in that he is performing this unlimited variety of services. Sri Balaram is the reservoir, the servitor Godhead who serves Lord Krishna in all affairs of existence and knowledge. Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is the form with the same servitor Godhead, Balaram performed the same service to Lord Gauranga by constant association. So, like he performed the service, how does he manifest? Whatever items is required for Krishna to perform his pastime, Baldev expands himself into those items. Krishna requires a bed to lie down. Okay. Krishna wants to sit on an asana, on a throne. Even the Yajna Upavita. So all these objects, articles are the expansions of Baladev. In different ways, he is serving the Lord. Who can be a better servant than Baladev to serve Krishna? We are doing service. Have we ever done any service like Baladev that you expand yourself? Your body is kind of, every aspect of your body is manifested for Krishna service? No. So this is why he is Guru Tattva. He is teaching everybody how to serve the Lord. That means service, we are meant to serve the Lord. This is the essence. Sarva Rupe Aswadaye Krishna Shivananda Sai Balaram Gaura Sangi Nityan. In all the forms, it tastes the transcendental bliss of serving Krishna. That same Balaram is Lord Nityananda, the companion of Lord Gaurasundara. Balaram is Nityananda. And we have seen in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime also. Sri Nityananda Prabhu was born to Padmavati Devi and Hari Pandit in Ekachakra Dham. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born to Sachidevi and Jagannath Mishra in Mayapur Dham. But Nityananda Prabhu appeared before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nityananda Prabhu had appeared before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it is said that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared here in Navadvip Dham, Srimad Nityananda Prabhu, staying in Ekachakra Dham, he made a roaring sound just to proclaim that my Prabhu has appeared in this world. And people of Ekachakra Dham, they couldn't understand that was the roar of Nityananda Prabhu. They are thinking maybe Lord Shiva, now he is roaring. That was the kind of assumption by the people of Ekachakra village. But actually Nityananda Prabhu was expressing his happiness upon the appearance of Srimad Mahaprabhu. And then later on, we have seen that on the plea of going to assist that sannyasi on his pilgrimage, Srimad Nityananda Prabhu was taken out of home and he traveled across India. He traveled to many holy places. Then finally, he met with Madhavendra Puri Pad, who informed him that already Krishna has appeared in Navadvip in form of Chaitanya. Now you should go and meet with him. So then he came to Navadvip Dham and he hid himself in the house of Nandan Acharya. Nandan Acharya Bhavan is just next to ISKCON temple. When you come, you should visit that place. That was the place where Nityananda Prabhu hid himself before first he met with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. On that very night, I mean to say, when Nityananda Prabhu arrived, and he didn't want to come to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. He was hiding in the house of Nandanacharya. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next morning, he is telling to Sivas and Haridas Thakur, last night I had a divine dream. Oh, what kind of dream is that? No, I saw a very divine personality riding on a chariot, Taladhvaja chariot, and entering into Navadvip Dham. And he must be somewhere. Please go and find out where he is. When Lord decides to hide himself, who can find him? Nobody can find him. Like Lord is already sitting in your heart, but he is keeping himself hidden in your heart. That's why even though he is very closer to you, still you cannot relate to him. Same thing happened. From Janmasthan to Nandanacharya Bhavan is like, less than a kilometer distance. And this Advaitacharya Prabhu, Haridas Thakur and our Sivas Thakur, they went around searching in Navadvip everywhere. Where is that person? No, we didn't find anyone. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally said, yes, come, I'll show you. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he directly brought them to the house of Nandanacharya. And there's a nice description about how, in the first glance, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they kept on looking at each other because they had not seen each other for a long, long time. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Sivas Thakur to read a verse from Bhakti Shastra, upon hearing the verse, which discusses about Krishna's beautiful form, when Krishna is returning from herding the cows in Vrindavan, how he is in the dancing mood, that description, when Nityananda Prabhu heard this description, says, Chinna taru prayanitaya kumite padila. Nityananda Prabhu fell down on the ground just like a tree who has been uprooted. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, held him on his lap, and he started shedding tears. And it is explained that Nityananda Prabhu's transcendental body was bathed in the tears of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And finally, Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu became the companion of those afterwards. And you can see after that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had street Sankirtan in Navadvip. And who did that? Help him? Nityananda Prabhu. In the first place, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Nityananda Prabhu, Suno Suno Nityananda Suno Haridas, Sarvatra Jaho Jaho, Sarvatra Amar Agya Karaho Prakash, Prati Ghare Ghare Gya Karoi Vikya, Bolo Krishna, Bolo Krishna, Karo Krishna Sikhya. See? In form of Balram, he may be expanding himself, his bed, his pillow, his, so many items. But here, what is his prayojan? What he wants? Now, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wants to give this holy name to everybody. So he's first of all asking Nityananda Prabhu, Suno Suno Nityananda Suno Haridas. O Brahma, O Nitai, just follow my order. What is your order? Prati Ghare Ghare Gya Karoi Vikya. You go from house to house. In every house, you go and knock at the door of every house in Navadvip and tell them, what? Chant Krishna's holy name. This is what Nityananda Prabhu did. And Nityananda Prabhu established Namhatta here in Suravi Kunj. Suravi Kunjete Namer Heart Kholeche Khud Nitai. So Nityananda Prabhu, he established Namhatta program. So in that way, here, as a companion of Gaura Sundara, in his Navadvip pastime, he helped Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in spreading the Sankirtan movement. What we are doing actually is spreading the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan movement. We are following the footsteps of Srimad Nityananda Prabhu. Therefore, those who are engaged in spreading the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they should always express their gratitude and remain obliged to Srimad Nityananda Prabhu. By Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, you will be able to do the service for the pleasure of Gaurasundara. So, Saptama Shloker Artha Parichari Shloke Jate Nityananda Tattva Jane Sarvaloke. I have explained the 7th verse in 4 subsequent verses. By these verses, all the world can know the truth about Lord Nityananda. So these 4 verses we will continue from the next class, that is starting from text number 13. Okay, so maybe you have any question or comment, we can spend some time looking into this.
Tirtha Prabhu has a question, Prabhu. Could you please go ahead, Prabhu?
Okay.
Tirtha Prabhu, yes.
Haribol, thank you for this presentation. It helped me to understand better how Baladev is like the guru of all disciples. And am I understanding correctly that Lord Nityananda had his own devotees, and then Lord Chaitanya came? How did the devotees of each come together? Am I right that did Lord Nityananda have his own devotees before Lord Chaitanya came?
No.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
Until Sriman Nityananda Prabhu was ordered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he did not express himself.
Oh.
He did not do that. That's why after being ordered by Sriman Mahaprabhu, only he started this service.
I see. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
In any way, there is still no conflict. For example, if we say, even in our organization, we have so many spiritual masters are present even today. And the same spiritual master has already instructed one of his disciples to serve in the society in the capacity of an initiating spiritual master. So even if in the presence of his guru, the disciple is allowed, or his disciple has started accepting disciples, but there's no conflict. The disciple also, they feel more comfortable. They have guru and they have got Param Guru with them. So in that way, they are connected to the same link, and there is no confusion, there is no misunderstanding, because they all teach the same truth.
Right.
Teaching remains the same.
Right. Thank you. Horrible. Thank you.
Thank you, Tirtha Prabhu. One day you should become guru and teach.
By Krishna's mercy, by Guru's mercy, by Shiksha Guru's mercy.
Yes, maybe Krishna one day will expect you to serve in that capacity.
Thank you, Prabhu. One question, Prabhuji. So, thank you for the wonderful, amazing session, Prabhu. It's been so long. So glad that you could make it today, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Prabhu, as you mentioned about Lord Nityananda being, playing the role of a guru, sometimes he also, apparently, so to say, does something opposite in the sense that favoring the example of Duryodhan, so to say, right? Balram and Duryodhan being favoring seemingly opposite characters, so to say. And so it apparently seems opposite, is this to enhance the rasa? How do you understand that too? Because what is a guru, what is it teaching in that particular mood, so to say? Opposite of Krishna.
Like you see, there is a very good question. What is teaching as a guru, being a guru? See, Duryodhan can be a confused personality. He would be representing Kali while having the good fortune of accepting and Baldev as his guru. But what is the message from Baladev? From the message from Baladev, who is Adi Guru, is that all necessary arrangements should be made by the preachers of Krishna consciousness to distribute the message of Godhead to one and all present in this earth planet. So a person may be very degraded. That does not disqualify him to receive the mercy from a guru. As I was mentioning other day, sometimes Duryodhana, he understood that what he is doing, what he is thinking, his decisions are not actually correct. He understands that. Then he is saying, even though I understand, I don't know, something is there from within, not allowing me to implement actually. That this is not wrong, this is not wrong, this is wrong, this is not correct, you should not do that. Somehow they are not able to do that. So the point is, Krishna, who is seated in his heart, he has his rasa, he has his pastime to perform and teach us. So therefore he did. But in case of Baldev, he is teaching this thing, that all necessary arrangements to be made to give Krishna consciousness to everyone in this world, irrespective of who they are and what they are. That is Guru. That is the mood of all gurus. Even like you see in the Jesus Christ's life, what did he do? When these people, they came to crucify him, and he was praying to the Lord for their protection, for their deliverance. This Madhai, who hit the head of Nityananda Prabhu, and his head started bleeding. And when it came to kind of, help them, how was the reaction of Nityananda Prabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very angry and he was ready to, behead them with Sudarshan. Sudarshan was already just waiting in his hand. Just Sudarshan was waiting for the signal. But Nityananda Prabhu said no. And then Sudarshan subsided. See, this is the kind of, glory of spiritual master, that they are very merciful and they always try to give Krishna to everybody, irrespective of their qualification. So you can take this lesson.
Yeah, thank you, Shambhu. Yeah, that is beautiful. Thanks so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you.
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you so much for today's class, Prabhuji. This was amazing. I mean, we've been waiting to hear from you. So I have a question, Prabhuji, about like Balaram, he always expands himself and comes whenever Krishna comes, right? As you said. So we know that even in his other avatars, like when Lord Ram came, he came as Lakshman, or in this case, he came as Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So does he always come? Because in Nrsimha Lila, how do we understand? Did he also come, or other, like when Lord Jagannath, he was there as Baladev, right? So how do we understand? Does he always come?
Actually, see, Lord is Lila Purushottam. Krishna is Lila Purushottam. So he performs his pastimes. And in those expansions, the explanation I've been given, for example, as Parshuram also, he came incarnated as Parshuram. So at different times, Krishna incarnates to achieve a particular mission. And in that connection, of Acharyas give the example, like a room is lit by a bulb, and the power of the bulb is decided according to the need of the room. So not necessarily that Nityananda Prabhu has to come in some other incarnations, but whenever it is necessary, he will come. This is very, very prominent. We see he incarnates as even what do you say, younger brother of Indra, Upendra, right? So And here you say like Nrsimha there. So sometimes he is not there, but he is also there. According to Swarupa, there is no difference. When it is necessary, he assumes a different body to assist him in his pastime. Whether he is there or not, Krishna performs pastimes in various incarnations, and if necessary, he also expands himself as Baldev and so forth, just to again being assisted for his pastimes, the performance of his pastimes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Even Lord Nrsimha there, he came without assuming any mother and father, without accepting any mother and father. Who is mother and father of Nrsimha there? Tell me. That's why it's called like Swadvaraka Avirbhav, Advaraka Avirbhav. So he can also sometimes appear without taking shelter of mother and father. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he accepted Sachimata, Jagannath Mishra, Ramchandra, Kausalya, and Dasarath. Krishna is Nanda Baba Yashoda. But Nrsimha there, he doesn't require. So different pastimes are there to teach us different things. So we need to understand those things. What is the lesson for us?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Because we were understanding this as in a service mood, right? That's why I asked Prabhuji. Because service is always needed, right, for Krishna or his forms. That's why I asked Prabhuji.
When people become too much demoniac, Krishna can himself just come because he becomes very upset when devotees are not given proper treatment. So he can be like Nrsimha without bringing Baldev, and he will accomplish everything on his own. That's another mood of Krishna. Okay, dear devotees. So I will be traveling to your country. I'm arriving at New York on the 4th of May. So if you feel like we can meet somewhere, I don't know how to arrange that. Are you all from one place or you are in different places? I don't know.
Oh, at least speaking from our side, we are in the other side of the US, we are in the West Coast, the Northwest of the exact opposite side of the US, of New York, so to say.
Tell me which place are you? I have very long travel plan from New York, Florida, then Los Angeles, San Francisco, up to Seattle. Then I'll be going into Canada.
We are 3 hours away from Seattle, bro. So we travel by car, Seattle. We are very near from Seattle. We're Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon. Yeah.
There are a lot of devotees from Seattle on this class. So if you come to Seattle, we would really be appreciative.
Okay. So you are from Seattle?
Yes, from all right.
Seattle. Okay. So yeah, I'll be coming to Seattle. I'm here to talk to our teacher there, and I hope, because I haven't made any kind of arrangement there. Once it is made.